Hello everyone! Here's the third and final part of video tutorial where we knit together Cathrine Sweater. You've already done the most demanding part, and what is left are sleeves and body. Let us start by separating these parts from each other. Now I'm at the beginning of the row with my thread of color A. Following the instructions given, I need 45 stitches. Then I need to cast on 6 stitches for the underarm and place 58 stitches of the sleeve on a waist thread. I will start by placing the thread. I simply take any waist thread and using crochet or ski plastic needle, I will pull the thread through all stitches I need to keep separate. I still remember to cast on 6 stitches. Here I do ordinary loops that I place on the needle. Important to make them pretty tight. Don't worry that it will be too tight, as later on you will see we'll get enough thread anyway. After, I have to knit the next 90 stitches, and the first stitches here I do should also be as tight as possible. By doing this, we reduce holes that will definitely appear hereafter. So make sure you tighten the thread well enough. After I have knitted 90 stitches, I need to place another 58 stitches of the sleeve on a separate thread. That is what I do. And another 6 stitches for the underarm I just cast on using ordinary loops. Finally, I need the rest 45 stitches. For the whole body length, I use only color A, so I will just keep knitting the body length round by round until I get the length I prefer. This sweater looks good cropped, but feel free to try it on to figure out how long you want it to be, minus 5 cm for the bottom rib. Keep knitting the body and see you when you get to the rib part. Here I will show you how to bind off the rib using a needle to get tubular bind off that looks as nice as tubular cast on. But first of all, I want to change my needles to 3.5 mm or smaller needles and knit about 4.5 cm rib. So it will be classic 1 rib, 1 knit, 1 purl stitch. Four and a half centimeters are ready. Next 3 rows I will knit slightly differently. Row 1. Here I will slip all knit stitches, holding the thread behind the stitch, and work only purl stitches as regular purl stitches. This way I continue until the end of the row. Slip knit stitch, purl 1 stitch, slip knit stitch, purl 1 stitch, and so on. Row 2 is the opposite. I work all knit stitches and slip all purl stitches. Pay attention that when I slip purl stitches, I hold the thread in front of the stitch. Let's do this way the whole row. Row 3 is absolutely the same as row 1, therefore I slip all knit stitches and do only purl stitches. When all 3 rows have been done, I take off the marker and knit 1 stitch. So binding off starts from the purl stitch. Here the magic is happening. I take a plastic needle. This kind of needle you can find in any knitting or sewing shop. Here I give you a link to hobby shop, but that is one of thousands shops where you can buy it. To bind off, I need to cut the thread. I leave about 3 lengths of the circumference, that is approximately how long the thread should be, and I cut it off. Now I take my needle and see how I'm going to work the edge, so it looks nice. I will bind off every 2 stitches. The first I do is to pull the thread through the purl stitch front to back. In the beginning it will be a bit inconvenient with such a long thread, but it is okay, just check it doesn't cause any knots in the middle. The next step is to join the loop of the right side knit stitch and left side knit stitch. It's important to check that they belong to the same row, so you just tighten here a bit to check that loops are at the same level. So I pull the thread right to left through one leg of each stitch. And step number 3. I pull the thread again through the purl stitch, but this time back to front. The first 2 stitches of the bind off are ready. I just slip them free from the needle and tighten just a bit, not too much, until I see it looks nice, not too loose and not too tight. Next 2 stitches I do the same way. I will not leave more comments here, so just follow the video, pause where you need or rewind and look at your knitting. I think it will be more understandable visually rather than by using words. The last stitches are ready, and here I just find the loop I can connect the last stitch with so the edge looks even. I make a knot and hide the loose end right away. The body is ready and I have only sleeves left. Here's my first sleeve. That is what it looks like. It is pretty roomy all the way down to the wrist part, and then I have another chart to work with, and finally rib part. First I place all stitches from the thread into circular needles or double pointed needles. Additionally, I need to pick up 6 stitches of the underarm. Temporarily, I pick up one of the loops of each stitch, 3 stitches at the end of the sleeve row, and pick up again 3 stitches in the beginning. I also place a marker in the middle of the underarm. Now I take a thread I need to join to my knitting and I start from the beginning of the row. As I said here, I pick up only one loop of the edge because it was simply the most convenient way, but I need to use both loops, therefore while doing these first stitches, I pick up both sides of the edge and make a knit stitch. I slip the loop and do a knit stitch using both sides of the edge. Now you see that if I start just knitting the rest of the stitches on my needle, I'll get a huge hole here and I want to avoid it. Therefore, I find the loop in the middle that will help me to make a hole as small as possible. For example, this one. I put it on the needle, knit this one and next one together through the front loops and tighten a bit. Look, no holes. Then I keep knitting the whole row until I reach the last stitch before the underarm. Here, in order to reduce the space between stitches, I also want to lift up a helping loop. I temporarily slip the last stitch here to the right and pick up a loop. To make it more or less symmetrical, I will turn both stitches the way I can knit them together through the back loop and tighten up. Now I just need to pick up the rest 3 stitches using both legs of the edge. The first row is ready. A According to my pattern for my size, I need to do only 2 decreases, 2 stitches each, every 20th rows. Let me knit the first 19th rows. The next row is decreasing row, and here from the beginning of the row I do 1 knit stitch, and next is a knit 2 together decrease. I make some room and knit the next 2 stitches together through the front loop. Then I knit the whole row until I have only 3 stitches left. The decrease for this side is slip, slip, knit. Therefore, I slip 1 stitch, I slip another stitch, I turn them and knit together through the back loop. I've done with this decrease and I keep knitting my sleeve next 19 rows again and do decrease there. Right after, I just keep knitting the sleeve until I reach the suggested length from the pattern, or 14 centimeters shorter than the desired length if it is different from the standard. Here you can see I've already knitted the lengths I needed and even started working chart 2. The chart is very simple and much easier than we did before. Therefore, I leave this part for you and I know you will manage it. Let us meet after the chart is ready. We're almost done with the sleeve, just need to do an even decrease. The same as with increases, I use a decrease calculator. I put my numbers 60 stitches and need to decrease 16 stitches. Then I have my instructions on how to decrease. 1 knit stitch and then repeating part knit 2 stitches together and 2 knit stitches that repeats 6 times and so on. Here I use my double pointed needles as I find it more convenient for me. The rest of the sleeve is very easy to finish. I will do the same bind off as for the body, therefore I work 4.5 centimeters of the rib, or just a little shorter than 5 centimeters. Then 3 rows the same way as we did for the body, and then using a needle I bind off all stitches. Please do it independently so we see us right after. The sweater is ready. Wow, that was a lot of work, a lot of learning for someone and just a knitting journey for others. But I hope you had a great time knitting the sweater and you're looking forward to doing the final steps such as weaving the loose ends and blocking. I enjoyed working on this pattern and I hope you will enjoy the result. If you would like to knit this sweater for kids, follow the link in the description after May 2023 and simply follow the same instructions for the chosen size. Thanks for watching the tutorial and I hope to see you soon with a new project. Bye bye!